Have you received an inheritance check, or you think you might have? Well, I did a few years back, and I learned a few lessons. I want to share those lessons with you so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Brad. This is my path through the baby steps and my journey to financial freedom. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I like to make new videos almost every other day to keep us all in line with the baby steps and how we can help each other get out of debt. Today, I want to talk about something that's sometimes a little bit of a sensitive topic, and that's inheritance. A few years back, I received an inheritance when my grandmother passed away. And this was before I started following Dave Ramsey's baby steps and before I was trying to get out of debt. Now, 3 years later, I look back and I definitely learned some things and made some mistakes. So today I want to run through inheritance and make sure that if you happen to be put in the same situation, that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. First, inheritance can come in many different sizes. For me, when I received mine, it was pretty much the largest sum of money somebody ever had given me. And I was a little bit flustered by it. Now, for me, I received this inheritance check months after my grandma passed away, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you need to take that inheritance check and just let it sit. You need to mourn through the process and not make rash decisions too quickly that might lead to mistakes with that money. It's okay if it sits in a savings account. Wait till you're ready and wait till that mourning process is over before you really decide what you're going to do with inheritance. Also, before you do anything with your inheritance money, make sure that you look into what taxes might be associated with that inheritance. For me, I was very lucky. My aunt collected all of my grandmother's estate. She paid the taxes on that inheritance for us and then distributed it to her grandchildren. So I didn't have to worry about that. But if you receive something like a trust fund, there's definitely going to be capital gains that you're going to have to spend. So you don't want to use your entire inheritance check and then when tax season comes around, get a big tax bill for the money that was the capital gains on that trust fund. If you are a baby steps follower, I would highly recommend, from my experience, that you remember the baby steps even when receiving an inheritance check. Just because you receive some money, that doesn't mean you can try and start to outsmart the steps and outsmart the process. Think about the baby steps when you receive that money. I personally wasn't following the baby steps and I didn't have a structure or a plan to do with my money, so therefore I made the mistakes that I made. And trust me, I saw firsthand. All the normal broke people are going to give you plenty of advice on what to do. And most of the times, that advice is going to be incorrect. Me, I got terrible advice, it turned out. At the time, they sounded so convincing and they seemed to make so much sense that it tricked me into believing what I should have done, and I went against my gut instinct even before I was following the baby steps. Please, and I've seen this happen before, do not use inheritance as a temporary boost in income. I've seen people receive inheritance checks and then use it as an excuse to spend outside their means all of a sudden. Just because you have a down payment on a house, that doesn't mean you're going to be able to afford that house payment later when the inheritance is gone. So please, don't think about this as a boost in income. This is a gift that's going to be used to honor a loved one, and you have to make sure that you honor that loved one properly. Now, my personal story, when I received my inheritance check, I had moved into my house, I was newly married, and my wife and I had not gone on a honeymoon because we tend to live a pretty simple, frugal life to begin with. Now, we weren't in trouble with money, but we definitely had debts, mostly on my end. My wife warned me about our overspending, and I figured our shovel is so big, our bills are kind of low, we're going to be okay. But I always hated student loans. I always hated them. So when I received my inheritance check, I thought immediately, I'm going to use them to pay off a portion of my student loans. I didn't want to put it on my mortgage because I saw my mortgage as such a large amount that the inheritance check really wouldn't even dent it. But I knew that I could do a huge dent on my undergraduate loans, which I've now paid off. Even when speaking to my father, he said to me, "Your grandmother would not want that. She would not want you spending money on bills. She would want you to have fun with that money." Well, I didn't realize at the time that I realize now is student loans are not bills. They were a choice to take out money to have fun in college or to go and do things in college. If I would have used that money, I would be having a lot more fun now if I would have used that money on my student loan payments. Because right now, I'm still on the baby steps and I don't have that money. And I got this advice all over town, not just from my father, but from my friends and even from my aunt who gave me the money. Literally, as she's handing me the check, she says, you and your wife didn't go on a honeymoon. Use this. Grandma was a traveler. She'd want you to travel. Well, my grandmother was good with money. That's why she had an inheritance. And that's why she was able to travel. She wasn't like me with debt. She didn't travel outside her means and then mysteriously have all this money to give to all of her grandchildren. But I didn't see it beforehand. And I was so mad. My gut told me, Brad, just pay off the student loan, pay off the student loan. And I sat with my wife and she was kind of like, we should pay off the student loans or at least a portion of it. But then everybody in the back, I thought I was just being young and dumb. I'd never received inheritance before. So what the hell did I know, right? At the end of the day, we use that inheritance to travel to places that I don't remember traveling to, and to go out to dinners I don't remember eating, and going to playoff sporting events that I don't remember even who won. And that was only 2.5 years ago. But I look now and I know now that if I would have used that money and followed the baby steps and followed the process and got myself out of debt, that amount of money that I received would be exponentially more beneficial to my life now if I didn't have my debts. I could have passed on those vacations and those dinners and those sporting events and that mini honeymoon that I went on. I would have gone back and passed on that in a second. And we're not even talking a long time ago. It's still fresh in my brain. It still hurts. If you don't follow the baby steps and you have no idea what I'm talking about with Dave Ramsey, first off, look him up if you have some debts. Look at my other videos. I talk about it. That's really all I talk about on this channel. But just know one thing, if you could take it away. It is not a reason to spend outside your means. It is a gift that is supposed to be used to help you and make your life better. And sometimes using the money to pay down debt is going to make your life better long term. I thought short term with my inheritance. I thought, let's go away now. Let's eat now. Let's go to that playoff game now. And the now is what got me in trouble in the first place. This is just 2 cents on my experience. Thank you so much for watching the video. If it gave you a little bit of good advice, give it a thumbs up. If you think it was terrible advice, give it a thumbs down. Drop down in the comments below. Let me know if you've ever been put in this situation. Did you make the right choices? Did you make the wrong choices? I would love to hear about it and some extra tips because I'm sure I'll receive an inheritance again one day, and I want to make sure that I don't make the same mistakes. And I need you guys to help me. That's what we're here for. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and have yourself a great day.